Hey guys, so today we're going to take a look at just a few things I picked up probably about 2 sales ago. Just going through the back issues, not looking for anything in particular, but sometimes I'll actually search something out. And a couple times ago I was looking for some like JSA, Justice Society of America comics from, I think this is like maybe the 70s, 80s. These were All-Star Comics, which was basically the place that they had the JSA stories in back in the day. So this one here, it's All-Star Comics 59. You see they got basically the lineup for the JSA as you would know it nowadays from like the Jeff Johns run. You got Power Girl there, the Golden Age Flash, Golden Age Green Lantern, Wildcat, Dr. Midnight, Star Spangled Kid, which nowadays we'd have Star Spangled Girl, but and then Hawkman there in the back. I just always liked the JSA a little bit better than the Justice League. Justice League comics always seem to be I don't know, you always seem to get the B stories in there, and then the good stuff would be in Batman or Superman or the actual lone titles, So JSA All-Star Comics, that's the only place you were going to be reading about most of these characters, so I figure you gotta get the best of the best there. I like how the cover has a really good shot of the Flash there. Power Girl's kind of damsel in distress, which doesn't really fit her power level, but she's the only female on the team, so kind of using her as somebody that needed saving. So I do somewhere have the first appearance of Power Girl in I forget if it was All-Star Comics #1, but it was an issue of this, and I don't have the best copy, but having that character's first appearance is good enough for me, even if it's a little beat up. Here's another All-Star Comics. This is number 60, so just the next one. And the date in the corner here, it's 1975 is when these are from here. So here you have Power Girl and Flash again, Wildcat, who is basically just a boxer in a cat suit, and Star Spangled Kid's up in the corner there with the star rod flying in. It is an interesting team because you have some power level people like Power Girl and Flash, obviously, and then you have some people who are almost like their version of the Batman with Wildcat there. He doesn't really have any powers. He's just a boxer, and his fighting powers is supposed to get him out of stuff. So it's a interesting mashup when you have people like Green Lantern who have this almost omnipotent power level, and then you have just some guy from the Bronx. Here's one. It's looks like people within the JSA are fighting each other on this one. So we got Wildcat. Wildcat's choking out Hawkman here. Hawkman has a pretty wild look on his face. It's I don't know if I'd say that he's worried or choking. He just looks like he's yelling at the camera. You got Power Girl flying in on the corner there, and Superman. That might be Earth 2 Superman, because some of these will have a Superman character, but it's original DC continuity Superman rather than Rebirth Doomsday Superman. So sometimes you'll get characters in there that seem like they're kind of out of place, but you know, this is back when it was all the multiverse, and you could have, you know, a Superman from Earth 2 next to a Power Girl, you know, and a Hawkman, and then maybe in Justice League at the time they probably had Hawkman with the more stylized helmet. You know, and all this was for DC back then. It wasn't no big deal to have multiple worlds and multiple universes, and you know, maybe for new people it'd be confusing, but they were going with it. So here's another one with Earth 2 Superman. Here you can tell he's Earth 2 Superman because he's got the given the white hair almost like Reed Richards, to show that he's, you know, he's not our Superman. He's not young and just getting into it. He's an older guy. We got a interesting Power Girl here. She doesn't have the cutout. You know, I would almost guess that was because of you know, a prudish 70s thing, but at the same time, you know, here's the other issue. She's got the cutout on that suit, and up at the top here, they have a little picture of the team. You can just make it out. Let's see. There we go. You can just make it out here. She doesn't have the cutout here, but on the other issue, number 62, she has the cutout. So somebody must have thought that she was showing a little too much. This is 65, so this is just 3 issues later, and all of a sudden she's all covered up. It's a it's a long sleeve leotard. You still got her thighs showing, but nothing else. So this one here has Vandal Savage. It looks a little different here. He's almost looks like he's supposed to be from the future. Vandal Savage is supposed to be a caveman that was supposed to basically got superpowers from a meteor. And here he looks more like almost like General Zod than anything else. But you know, anything where you have Superman getting knocked over on the cover, that looked like an interesting pickup. This one's the next one, 66. Looks like they're, I don't know who they're fighting. This looks like it could be Captain Cold down here. Not sure who this guy with the crazy brain helmet is. We got Flash on the ground, and Dr. Fate, who, if you don't know him, he's kind of the DC Universe version of Doctor Strange, though Dr. Fate came a lot earlier. And I've always liked the look of that character. It's just a really simple blue and yellow, and the helmet is incredibly iconic. Says they're battling for Wildcat's life here. Not sure why Flash is the one on the ground in that case. Seems like they got that a little backwards on the cover, but it looks like a neat one. I like how on this one you can see here that it says All-Star Comics presents the legendary Justice Society of America. They're almost rebranding there. Here's another one. You can tell from the covers it's mostly a Power Girl, Flash, Wildcat almost on every one, and then Star Spangled Kid's on a good amount of them, but you know, it seems like those are the mainstays. And Hawkman's up here in the corner too. He's on almost every cover. Again, this is the next issue. I got a good run of a few in a row, and this one again, it's kind of like a rebranding. They're making All-Star Comics smaller and smaller on the top here, and you know, they're making the Justice Society the drawing point, the selling point. So These next couple I just picked up randomly. I was looking at stuff like, the old titles like World's Finest, Adventure Comics, which was where Aquaman first got his start, and Action Comics, those types of things. You can always find some interesting 70s covers from those. So this first one is World's Finest Presents number 203. You have Aquaman on the ground here, and you have Superman who's been blinded somehow, and you have these aliens walking off. They look almost like sharks. Looks like they're in the middle of the desert. So, Aquaman's obviously parched, and Lord knows what's happened to Superman, but it's interesting to have him kind of waving around, asking for help because he can't see. Just a neat cover, and Aquaman's drawn super well here. I always like the iconic suit with him more than anything. Here's another Aquaman adventure. This is Adventure Comics number 443. And these are comics that have normally a backup. So this one has Aquaman, and then it also has the 7 Soldiers of Victory. And here we have Aquaman riding on what looks to be some sort of robot dolphin, because I just noticed the fin looks like it's made out of metal. This one's probably late 70s. It's the trade dress is about the same as those other ones, but just the quality and the artwork looks a little bit more like it's inching towards the 80s to me. Now this one's pretty beat up, honestly, but I just picked it up because it was on the cheap. Had a neat cover here with this robot who looks kind of like the 80s Brainiac, but I don't think that's what it is. But here all his pieces are beating up Superman, and this is when Action Comics was a bit thicker. This is, they mention it's Giant on the top. I'm not sure how many pages Giant is, but I think it was, maybe twice the size of a regular comic. It's mentioned they also have Green Arrow, and that's the really old style Green Arrow look, and then also the Atom. I just noticed it says starring the Golden Age Green Arrow, so maybe it's a bit of a flashback. Maybe Green Arrow in reality at this time in the comics looked like we recognize him to look, and maybe this was just them doing a flashback, but had to pick that up. I'm okay with it being somewhat beat up. I mean, the sides here are pretty banged up and not the best looking, but when they're older like that, I'm willing to get a lower quality, especially if you can't find any that are in great quality, then what are you gonna do? You might as well pick up one that's a little beat up, because that might be the only one that you come across. So really quick, last thing I wanted to show, we recently, and I know I'm late to the party, but we recently got Netflix, and one of the first shows I watched on there, which some people I'm sure will think was a little weird, was Ultraman. And after watching that series, because it's only the one season so far, I went online and found these Ultraman soft vinyl figures from a seller out of Japan. So I got a few different styles. This style here, or at least this shape, is the one that I grew up on when Ultraman. I remember for a little while in probably the early 90s, they had a Ultraman on TV think it's part of Fox Kids, and he had this basic look to him. Different color scheme, obviously. His color scheme was more in line with this guy here, but the head and stuff like that was like this. And I know me and my brother had like a monster from the series, and I think we also had an Ultraman. I don't know where that one is anymore, but they were huge. I mean, these are about 6 inches tall, but I want to say the Ultraman and the monster we had from that TV show were twice as big. They were oversized. I still have the monster somewhere. I think he's a little banged up, but you know, it's like a 12-inch figure, and you know, back then in the 80s, 90s, to have something that big was pretty impressive. So, you know, I watched the Netflix series, and none of these guys are indicative of that. Well, he kind of looks like this one, but you know, I just got a few of these, wanted to have them for my desk, and they don't, you know, they don't do much. They're basically just, you know, really simple action figures. The arms move, and they have a little bit of waist back and forth, and they're soft. You can tell that they're kind of hollow here. But you know, I thought that for the price, because they were pretty inexpensive, especially being imported, you know, it was right. They do have some toys from the TV series, but they're you know, they're all SH Arts and things like that, where it's, you know, $80 for an action figure, and I can't be justifying that when I can get 3, you know, little guys that kind of fill my need for $10 each. So, well, that was it, guys. Hopefully I'll have they're having a sale at the store for Halloween coming up in a week or two, so hopefully have a chance to go over there, see what I can pick up, and we'll see if we can get anything cool. Okay, bye guys.